Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope all of you are doing well. Today I bring to you guys a beginner's weapon guide. When I go into a game, I see a lot of new players or low level players. So I just want to make a small weapons guide up until season 7. Quickly go over all the weapons as categorized like this: assault rifle, shotguns, submachine guns, and so on. I'm going to give you a little bit of idea which weapons are good, how and when you should use these weapons. So let's start with assault rifles. So Havoc overall is quite a good weapon. It has a decently high recoil, but you can definitely control it because it's mostly vertical. So if you have, and I feel like if you have a lower mouse sensitivity, controlling recoil on the Havoc is so much easier. Once you get the turbocharger on it, it's insanely good. Personally, I feel I like to use the Havoc in the 1x attachments. With 2x attachments, it's good, but pretty much the effective range that you use it in is too long, and it becomes a little difficult to control the recoil. If you practice enough, it's always easier. But in my opinion, I personally prefer to use the Havoc as more of a close range weapon because the fire rate and damage is also extremely high. Makes it work also like a submachine gun. Let's go to Flatline. Flatline, great weapon. Shiv FPS, if you guys know him, pretty much a lot of you might know him. He has said one thing that I agree with a lot. He was basically trolling, but it's not 100% false. He had said flatline hipfire will either hit all shots or will miss all shots, and flatline hipfire is actually quite good. Up close and personal, you can pretty much shred any character, big, small, and even if they're strafing hard. It's a really good gun. Close range, does 20 damage. It's like 5 bullets. You get 20 bullets in the base mag. All you need is 10 bullets to take down a full health opponent. And Flatline overall is a really good weapon, especially for close range. Use it with 1x. With the 2x, you're gonna try and have to practice a little bit on the recoil control, and you're gonna miss the shots. So kind of mentally be prepared to miss the shots over the ranges because it hits hard and it has a huge recoil. So they have kind of made it into a way so that you miss a shot. But don't worry, you have like 30 bullets in a full magazine, and all you need is 10. So all you have to hit is 10 shots. You can afford to miss 20 shots, take down a full health opponent. So you can pretty much use that. Scout, another great weapon. What I think people don't see is the Scout is actually not that bad close range. It's, I think, all about practice and sensitivity in a way. Scout, far range, great weapon. If you're using a 2x, pretty much the range you use 2x at, usually you won't really find a problem with the Scout. If you use a 3x, it gives you vision for a slightly longer range, of course. And I think while using a 3x, practice a little bit, and you might need to pace your shots depending upon how far your target actually is, because the Scout, if you try to spam it, sometimes it can tend to be inaccurate, but sometimes it can be extremely accurate. That's something I observe about the Scout. Sometimes it's like you don't hit a single shot, but sometimes you'll hit all shots, do 200 plus damage in a few shots, and that's absolutely insane. Hemlock, it's still the current meta. They try to nerf it in this patch. It still does about 60 damage body shot in one burst. It's still a great weapon. The only thing I don't like about the Hemlock is the iron sights. I feel it's like too small to really see anything through. But overall, it takes a little bit of learning. I was talking to my friend, and he said he still doesn't like to use the Hemlock a lot, but I do. I believe that I started using the Hemlock last season, and I tried to practice the recoil. I went into the firing range, I practiced the recoil a lot, and kind of when they nerfed the recoil, it was much easier for me to use the Hemlock. I would suggest go in the firing range, like just practice the recoil, get using the Hemlock. R301, I believe this is the most versatile, most balanced, and pretty much the best assault rifle in game. It has great hip fire, great mid-range ability, great long-range ability, and I think the best part about R301 is it uses light ammo, and there's pretty much abundance of it. Like you'll pretty much never run out of light ammo. I have used 2 light weapons loadout. I use a R400 loadout, the R301 and R99, and I end up having 500, 600 light ammo. I just choose to not take it because I need bats and shields and stuff. But pretty much, I do end up finding that much light ammo. So R31, really great weapon. Just definitely try it. Okay, let's look at the submachine gun. So the alternator, I feel some people like it, some people don't like it, and there's a lot of mixed opinions about this gun. But overall, I feel I do like the alternator. So you could kind of use it as an assault rifle or a close range assault rifle. The hip fire and fire rate, it's quite good. You could actually hip fire at close range. It does about 15 to 16 damage body shot, which is quite a lot when you look at which other guns do that. Like R31 does about 12 or 13, I think. It does I think 13 or something. And alternator does that. Put a 2x on this and you can pretty much use it as a close range or close to mid range assault rifle. Very good weapon actually. Prowler, it's gone in the care package, so hence it's obviously pretty good weapon. It was outside the care package last season. Between that season and between now, it going into the care package, there is no change really. They had reduced the recoil on the burst mode, so it had become very easy for everyone to use. Otherwise, it had a learning curve. It would take a lot of skill to use it, but now they made it easier, so I think they sent it back into the care package. But overall, the Prowler is probably one of the best guns that does one of the highest DPS one and does ton of damage. The burst mode, really good. Full auto mode, awesome. Definitely try it out if you get to pick it up. R9 I think has been an all-time fan favorite of everyone. Once you learn how to use it, once you learn the recoil pattern of R9, it's pretty much one of the best weapons. If you learn to put the 2x on the R9, then I think you kind of unlocked a new skill. I've recently learned how to use the 2x. R9 hip fire, really great. The Volt, some people argue this is the best weapon in the game, and I do agree with them to a great point. I feel the Volt overall is quite better than R9. The only place where I would prefer the R9 over the Volt is close range hip fires. The Volt has a good close range hip fire if you practice it enough. But I think I've practiced the R9 quite a lot because it has been over here over the seasons. So I like the R9 close range hip fire. Other than that, you can put the 2x on the wall. It's pretty much a good combination of an assault rifle and a submachine gun. And it's a really good gun. If you can find enough energy ammo, sometimes I tend to run out of it. If you can find enough energy ammo, Volt, great weapon. Alright, time for the LMG. We have the Devo first up. Devo, I don't think I have to say much if you've used the Devo. Devo is a really strong weapon. It has the highest bullet velocity, which means the bullets of it goes the furthest. It is even faster than the triple take, so you can shoot accurately to a greater distance. You don't have to track as much. Overall, the only drawback I think that the Devo has is without the turbocharger, you kind of end up wasting a lot of bullets. But even with the turbocharger, you kind of end up wasting a lot of bullets. So that's the only drawback I think the Devo has, and probably why people tend to not use it as much. What I also feel is the purpose of the Devo is spamming. You can just, it's like Sheila, not exactly like Sheila though. You just pull down the trigger and you spam into a location wherever you see the enemy, and you can actually do a shit ton of damage with that. L-Star is 100% an underrated weapon. You have to try it. It might not seem that it does a lot, but if you learn how to use it, because whenever you release the trigger, there's a slight like kickback where it doesn't hit before. So it's not that you can release the trigger and instantly press it again. If you release the trigger, it kicks back a little, or it kind of cools down a little. So you have to wait for a while before you start shooting again. But try putting on the 2x or 3x and try using this weapon. It doesn't need reload, but it needs a small if you overheat it, you have to kind of change the core of the L-Star somewhere right there ahead. But overall, L-Star is a very underrated weapon. The hip fire is also really great, and it's quite accurate. So definitely please go and try this out. You guys will definitely enjoy this. Spitfire, they have buffed it. Overall, it's been quite a good weapon. There was a time when Spitfire was crazy good. It had like 20 damage per bullet body shot, and it had a very easy to control recoil. For any of the new player, any of the old players, they will all remember this. So they nerfed the Spitfire. Now the Spitfire, decent weapon. Then they also gave it a buff this season. If you ADS, the recoil is much easier to control than when you kind of hip fire, which is an interesting thing. They give this to all the LMGs, that the ADS is easier to control. So overall, Spitfire, try and use it with a 2-3x. Is a good mid to long range weapon. Close range, not so much because of the LMG nerf of more difficult to control hip fires. Alright, sniper rifle. Overall, charge rifle is insane. If you're good with tracking, just pick this up, and this can deal shit ton of damage. Just pick it up. You need a decent with almost every sniper rifle, I feel, except triple take. You need to have a good strong secondary weapon, maybe R9 or R301, whatever is your choice, that you can definitely use close range as well. Because triple take has a pretty neat hip fire, and you can do about 69 damage even close range, so you don't really need it. I feel this is one of the best overall rounded assault rifle, especially after the integration of the choke. So overall, charge rifle, if you have good tracking, do go use it up. Longbow, I feel, lies somewhere in the middle of all the sniper rifles. It's not the best. It used to be a really good sniper rifle, I think back in season 3 something, but right now it's decently balanced, or it's in a place where you can use it, you may want to use it, but it's not something that is in the meta, or I'm not sure if it'll ever come back in the meta. Kraber, well, a care package weapon, so I don't think there's a lot to say about it. Really good weapon. If you learn how to do a hip fire on Kraber, which is not that difficult actually, I've tried it on dummies, so I've checked out the hip fire spread on the Kraber. Not that crazy really, so you can really do some nice neat trick shots with that. Sentinel recently got a few buffs recently, and Sentinel is actually a very good and very strong weapon. You charge it up with your shield cells, and then you can pretty much unlock the real potential of the Sentinel. You can try using it without the charge up, but it's always better to use it with the charge up, especially because it only takes a few shield cells, and there's always a lot of shield cells lying around in some of the dead boxes. You can pretty much do 148 or 150 plus damage headshot with the Sentinel. You can it's like a Kraber body shot, and you can down a player almost. Alright, the triple take. Well, triple take, I mentioned it a little bit before. Pretty much talked about it already. With the integrated choke, it's probably one of the best sniper rifles. You can also use it as a shotgun. It's really good. They might actually nerf it in some way. I'm not sure what they do. They might reduce the damage. But up close and personal, you can definitely use it as a shotgun. It's a very good sniper rifle. All you have to do is wait a split second before each of your shots, and you can actually, a little tip with triple take, you can keep shooting. You don't have to wait for a choke to close in. You can keep shooting, shoot like about that split second intervals, and you can quite easily, even at ranges, do at least 48 damage to 69 damage, or even more if you hit a headshot. That's a little trick or tip you should use with the triple take. Don't wait for the choke to close and just keep spamming it. It's really annoying for anyone being shot at, because it's really a good weapon. Alright, we have shotguns and pistols to go. Let's go shotguns. I feel the Eva-8 and Mastiff both are really good shotguns. Overall, the Mastiff is better because it does a lot more damage. It does at least 104 complete body shot in close range. Even at kind of mid range, you can do about 50 to 65 damage, which I feel is not completely fair for a shotgun. They tried to nerf it, but it's still very powerful, so they might need to do something else. You don't really need an optics on this as well. Some people do prefer it completely without an optics. Some people do prefer with an optics, but it's really your personal preference. I most of the time use it without an optics. All I put on it is a purple bolt. And one thing about Mastiff, it's pretty much the king of close range gunfights right now. Like if you're going against a Mastiff and the other player is even a little bit decent with a Mastiff, you hardly have a chance of winning. I've been killed by some really not so good players. Like they were decently new to the game. They didn't know half of the movement, and they probably didn't have the best aim, but they had a Mastiff and they had a decent shield. So it took me time to kill them, and at the same time, they just could easily shred me with the Mastiff. So pretty much right now, if you're not using the Mastiff and the Hemlock, these are the like totally the meta guns, the overpowered guns right now in a way. You are pretty much not taking advantage of what this game is giving you right now. So do try. It might take a little bit of time to learn, but go try, learn the Mastiff, and definitely use it. EVA 8 is also actually a very good weapon, though this does not have as much range as the Mastiff, but close range. If you even put like a blue bolt on it, the fire rate increases to so much that you can like pretty much spam it a lot, and before anyone even realize, you can take them down. And I think this is one of the only weapons, or probably the only weapon other than Mastiff itself, who can compete with the Mastiff, because if you have a bolt on this, you can really spam, keep doing 60 plus damage and take down an enemy faster. So it's also a really good shotgun. If you struggle with using the Mastiff, you can definitely give this a try and close range. All you have to do is try and do hip fire. I almost never ADS with the EVA 8. The hip fire is quite good. Close range is really strong. People I think don't even realize how strong the EVA 8 is close range. Maybe I'll make a video on it someday. Well, let's cover the Peacekeeper. Peacekeeper, I think it's a little bit towards the preference. Most of the people, I would say, like the Peacekeeper. I know how strong it is, but I'm still not the biggest fan of the Peacekeeper. I kind of do, for some weird reason, struggle to ADS and shoot on the Peacekeeper. I'm not very sure. Hipfire, I can kind of do, but overall, the Peacekeeper is a very strong weapon. If you find it up, you can definitely try, pick it up, give it a try. But I personally am not so good with it, really. So I tend to stick to the Mastiff. Mozambique got a buff where it has 4 shots in the chamber. Earlier it had only 3. That 4th shot has actually really been extremely useful. And overall, the Mozambique is not that bad a weapon right now as much as the P2020 is. Hammer point hop up, you can pretty much one tap anyone you broke the shields off. So this is a really strong weapon. You can use an R9 kind of secondary with it. You can use a 2x on it as well, or a 1x on it. I would suggest that you do use an optics, and you can put a bolt, and you can just one tap people, shred someone's armor with the R9, and then one tap them with Mozam. We talked about the Peacekeepers, so let's move on to the last segment, the pistols. Well, I think RE45 is quite a decent weapon to drop on. If you drop on an RE45, it has a quite tight hip fire, it has a decent fire rate, it does quite a bit of damage, so you can pretty much use it in most of the situations if you land on it. I have not really seen anyone take it forward in the game. It's, I think, a good land on weapon that you can use. You can do some damage. You can even use it if people gain shield and you still haven't found a decent gun. It's a decent gun to drop on, so you can definitely try it out when you drop on, but I don't see anyone take it further into the game, into mid game and late game. But yeah, I might try to do it someday, because it's an interesting thing to see what happens if you use RE45 as a secondary weapon, or maybe even a primary. P20 standalone. P20 is not that good. You can use it. It is kind of usable if you practice a little and you have a little faith that you can hit your shots with the P20T, and you have a little faith that you can hit your shots with the P20. The P20 fire rate completely depends on how fast you can click. It's almost instant, so however fast you can click is whatever the fire rate of the P20 is going to be. With the hammer point, it's absolutely a crazy weapon. You can, if you learn it a little bit, so you will not need to completely remove the shields in case you run out of your primary weapon and there's still some shields left on the enemy. You can really use the P2020 to break the rest of the shields and then just shred whatever is left of them. It's a really strong weapon with the hammer points. I don't think the hammer points attachment is ever gonna go away from the game, or they're ever gonna remove it for a while, because it's really strong. Last but not least, the wingman. The wingman, I have made a few videos on how to improve your aim with the wingman and a secret mechanic on the wingman. I'll make sure they pop up right now as cards and also down in the description, so you guys can go check that out. Definitely go check out the secret mechanic with the wingman if you are anywhere interested in learning how to use the wingman. Or overall, I feel wingman is the weapon that requires the most skill. I still don't use it. I have never practiced enough. There's occasional times when I use it, but I think whenever I've used it, I felt that it has like a true potential to be a really great weapon. It's a really, really strong weapon. So that's, I feel, if you're not using the wingman, you're really missing out on something that the game has provided to you, because I'm not really sure which other game provides such a versatile pistol that can actually be used as a mid-range, long-range, close-range baseline. It's so strong. So overall, definitely, if you guys are interested, you guys can go check out my guide on how to learn the wingman. I'm just better with other weapons, so I just prefer to pick up other weapons that I am better with instead of picking up the wingman, but I definitely occasionally pick it up, and it's a really good weapon. Alright, so guys, that was all the beginner's weapons guide. So if you guys felt that I missed out on anything, do let me know down in the comment section so others can know about the tip or so on, and maybe if you need, I can make a video on one of the things. And I hope you guys enjoy this. Hope this video was helpful to the new players, and maybe it also gives some insight to all the old veteran players of Apex Legends. So if you guys liked it, do leave a like, hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me if you want to see more such kind of contents, and I will see you guys in the next one. Stay awesome.